Shifting the focus a little bit, we are going to do an update on the Ituango hydroelectric powerhouse disaster that has happened in Colombia. In case anybody doesn't know what this is, there is a very, very large hydroelectric dam project that was almost ready to be done, and because of mismanagement and neglect on the part of the Colombian authorities, the dam has now moved to the verge of collapse, and there is a 125-mile area downstream from it that has been evacuated. And they are working now round the clock to attempt to finish this project, but there have been some positive indications that maybe they might be able to make this happen, but there's been others that have shown that this might be a fool's errand. And the dam is at the position now where it could go at any time. What I'm going to try to do in this video is give you a recent update, less than an hour old, from the region, and also try to explain how this all worked, what they were attempting to do, and where everything fell apart for them. So real quick, the recent update is here. This is RCN Radio out of Colombia in that region, and attempting to discharge water through the machine room prematurely as a stopgap measure because other tunnels had been flooded. There are now blockages in those machine rooms. And it says that here. On this occasion, there is a blockage in 2 of the 4 tunnels through which the waters of the Cauca River flow. And the mayor confirmed that under the current conditions, the powerhouse is working at half the capacity it can to discharge water. So it would take at least 6 days to reach the goal that they want to finish the dam. So, and of course, the adverse factor is heavy rainfall upstream of the Cauca, which has brought tons and tons and tons of water. I've brought up a map here, world satellite map, that shows you here's Medellin right here, and then up here is where the dam is, and as you can see, this is the river flows from here to here, from south to north, out of the mountains into the sea. And as you can see, there's these giant storms just dumping tons and tons and tons of rain into the region that feed into this river. And that is the problem that they're fighting with, is that they cannot discharge water out of from behind the dam fast enough. And you would have to ask yourself, well, why is that a problem, and why is there water backing up behind the dam before it's done? Well, we're going to show you in this video, and now once again it's in Spanish. I'm going to play it forward. I have it set at 3/4 speed because for some reason they went through this super fast, and I'll pause it to explain what's being said. Now, what we're seeing here is, this is a mountain. Let me see if I can kind of give you guys a better view here of what we're looking at, so that we can have a reference point. This mountain here that they're showing, they were attempting to push water through the machine room in this mountain. This is where the power plant was going to be. They were going to divert the river here, and it was going to come through here and then come back out here. Now back behind here, excuse me, I have that backward. I do apologize. They were going to discharge it this direction. It was going to come out here, through here, and then go out this river and also down this river as well. It's a confluence of 2 rivers. So, when you look at this here, this is what they're looking at. Okay, here was where the water was going to back up. They were going to divert the water through here. This is where the machine room was. But in order to do this, they had to dig diversion tunnels, just like you would with any dam. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this forward. As you can see here, it's the Rio Cauca. And La Presa means the dam height, 225 meters. Right here. That's, of course, where the water was going to be diverted through the Casa de Máquina. In order to construct the dam in 2014, the company EPM had to divert the water of the Rio Cauca using 2 diversion tunnels. And that person's going to draw those here. This is where the water was diverted. Okay, water's coming from here enters from here and leaves this way. And this way would be dry. Now, each tunnel, diversion tunnel, was 14 meters across. Huge, huge tunnels. So you'd have to imagine how much detritus had to have been dumped in the river to block these tunnels. How much had to have just been left go. Now, this year, because remember they started this in 2014, at the beginning months, they basically, when they started in order to fill the dam, they sealed those tunnels. And that's what she's describing here. He or she, I'm not sure. They basically filled them, they capped them and filled them with cement. Or excuse me, one was filled with cement and the other was capped. They needed to do this so the river could back up behind the dam and raise the water level up to the point where it could get to the machine room. But they still had to divert some water. Now this is a much bigger tunnel, 200 meters, and it went through the mountain. Okay, here's your other diversion tunnel. Between the 28th of April and 7th of May, 3 landslides blocked the passage of the river through the tunnel. As you can see here, I'll go ahead and pause this. Okay, so here's where the diversion tunnel is. And as you can see, here's the collapse, here's the hole, and that's what blocked the water flow. And because of the other 2 tunnels being sealed, the water backed up at a much higher rate behind the dam than they planned for. This caused a problem, clearly. So immediately, this company, EPM, began to work with explosives trying to unseal the tunnels they had sealed. But that process took way too long, and going into the rainy season, it just, it wasn't fast enough. On the 10th of May of this year, they decided to open up the machine room prematurely to let water out. Okay, so just going to stop right here. So this third tunnel, because it had now fallen apart and collapsed, and the other 2 tunnels had been blocked, they had no way to release this water, and the dam wasn't done yet. So they had to open up the machine room because the water was coming up too fast, but it wasn't ready, and it damaged tons and tons of equipment and lost millions. This is just where they just explain how water is turned into energy, how it turns turbines and creates energy. Now, the original video that I had made, yeah, and this is all screwed up now, they got to put in new stuff, had alleged that that collapse, that where it blocked the tunnel, was not natural. Now here it talks about on the 12th of May, that third block tunnel, because of the pressure let loose. This giant gusher of water destroyed tons of homes and people. Didn't kill anyone, but it destroyed their homes, and this is what she's describing here. And all this was because they couldn't be bothered to clear the crap from the river because they were trying to save money. Big business at work again. People had warned of this, by the way. There were these huge protests against this dam in this region because of this problem. It was too unpredictable, and because they knew of the corruption, and they knew they wouldn't do what would necessarily, what would be necessary to happen to do this right, because it was all about the cheapest work for the highest amount of profit. And this is what happens. And what they were basically just describing there, I'll stop, was that they can't control that blockage down there in that tunnel. And, it'll rush through, and then more will collapse, and it'll stop, and then it'll back up more water, and then it'll let go again. And they can't control it, so they don't know when and where that thing is going to continue to build up pressure, and then explode. Over and over and over again. It's an untenable situation, and this is what they're not telling you. And this is where they suspended work. Because they knew they couldn't fix it. And right now they have 11,000 people working around the clock. And over 120,000 people are in harm's way now. So that's what's going on. That's where we're at with this. They didn't do what they were supposed to do because they were trying to save money and trying to make it a profitable endeavor and bribe people and have every one of these projects be something where people can line their pockets. Just like big business always does. And now a whole bunch of poor people with no voice are going to suffer. And as you can see, that's the problem. These massive storms. And like I said, what you're looking at up here in the main map, if you look here, this is Medellin. It's right up here. Right in this region that's just getting hammered with tons and tons of rain. And it's the rain that's falling here that's flowing down through there that's going to cause the problem. So I'll leave it there. That's the update. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.